Okay. So first we'll install Java in from JDK download from Oracle. Since Java is acquired by Oracle in 1995 only almost. So we'll write Java program using .java file like any other extension, like any other technology. Since we are using Java, we use .java, which is small j, Java extension. All the extensions will be in small lowercase only almost. Even though if you give uppercase, it will transpile, it will convert into lowercase only. Now it will create .class file where the computer can understand. Means computer will work on bytes. Bytes will have bits 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, whatever it may be. It will be in the form of bytes. So everything is a bit inside a byte. A byte will consist of 8 bits. So that will be stored. So this will process into .class file, which is in the same way, which is in the form of bytes. But that bytes will be there in the characters, right? Base 64. Class low, it will be in base 64 only, you already know. That base 64 will be converted into bytes and that will be loaded into JVM in runtime whenever you run Java application after compilation. So now this is how Java will execute first. First we need to create that and we need to execute it. So now, okay, once you install Java, basically if you want to run in command line, like Windows CLI, you can run using command Java C program name.java file. Then it will create .class file, right? Again you need to enter Java program, which is the file name. Now it will run the Java file and it will get the output. Whatever you do, that output you will get here. So that is how it will run. In Windows or even Linux or whatever it may be, using command line you can run it. But if you are doing it command line and writing it in Notepad, that might be very difficult for you to build the larger applications. So that is we choose from here to run on IDEs. Which is the topmost one, we can use Eclipse. The second topmost one we can use STS. Third one I can use IntelliJ IDEA. Fourth one I can use NetBeans. So on. So we might be using any one of these because so integratedly we will get more features. Like we can explore Java documentation using control plus click and we'll go through that code. And also you will see the definition of that particular whatever it means. If you are printing something in Java, again we need to go inside. So everything we can go inside as a shortcuts we have. In order to run, we have play button there, which is in green color, right? We can right click on the particular file and we can run as Java application, or we can directly run the current file which is loaded. So how it will be? It is having Project Explorer right left side. On top it is having options, whatever it may be. And right side we have bar. There we can able to attach console. Here this is the program area where you can open the files. If you do something, if you open some file and if you change something, it will be start till you save. Then you can control S for save. And again you see whenever you are writing some code. For example, you created a Java file. So that Java will be in the form of syntax. It should have class and it should have class name. And it should open with open braces and ends with closed braces. This is the file structure. Inside that, if you want to run something, you need to write main method. Let it be, I will just make it the whole code, but I just want to make it as an abstract. So now, whatever you write, that will be saved and you need to create a project here. Right? You need to go to file option, create new Java project. Right? Once you created, you need to check whether it is running or not. So that's how we'll run the Java from here. And again here we have the green button, or you can right click on any of this place so that you can run as Java application. This is how we'll run. Basically, if you are running in IDE, it will not create .class files. Basically, it will directly interpret the code with the help of IDE extension. You got it? And whenever you install Java, our system need to identify the path. Otherwise, this STS or Eclipse, whatever you do for your practice, right? That will not identify the Java. In order to make it identify, we need to set the path in environment variables. Is it correct? You can directly search in your Windows search button. Here Windows search button you can search environment variables. Here in environment variables you will get the user system. User and system. If you set for the user, if you are the user, you logged in your system. If there are more than one user in your system, it will set only for the user who is logged in. If the other person logins, it will not identify the Java because you set for only user. If you set for system, even though there are 3 users or 4 users or even there are admin user, everyone can able to access the Java which is already installed on the global level. If you want to install global level, you can set for system. Even though if you are installing some softwares, right, by default it will be for system only. We can download user specific also, we can install for user specific also. Most of the softwares, once you download, you will get exe files, executable files on Windows. That exe files, whenever you right click, you will get the run as administrator. Run as administrator. If you do that, definitely it will install for system. Are you clear till this point, right? Now we'll zoom into this. So this will become large mode. Okay. So now I create a file called student.java. Student.java. Since extension will always in the lowercase. So now since we created Java file, we need to run execution from here onwards. So that Java will always be classes and objects. First I need to create a class. Everything will be lowercase. Class student. Since we write student as a class, inside that only we need to write the code. That is nothing but the namespace or the space to write some code in Java. This is the open brace we need to put. Inside that only we need to write the code. And this is the closed brace. Whenever you start any lines of code, right, that will always start with open braces in Java. So that will identify that everything will start from here, so that it will execute line by line from there onwards. So this is the syntax to write Java class, and you need to put it as a public. Why? Because this student class will be used by everyone in Java. That everyone will be every class or every package. That every package will consist again n number of classes. That's where we can use it. Now, in order to run Java, we need to have an extension called main method. That main method will automatically invoke. If I say an example, I'll just write main method. Okay, if I say there is a button, for example, if you open lms.byte/.in. So in order to open that URL also, if I put button, server will not work. So the thing is, I need to maintain the consistency that it will automatically invoke at least opening the login page. In order to open the login page also, it is having some feature like it will accept input, email and password. That also it should automatically invoke. But if I put button for that loading the login page, I cannot make it. There is no possibility that server will run automatically. The thing is, we need to run the server automatically. Automatically server run aitene, at least it will open the home page. లేదంటే అది కూడా ఉండదు. సో దట్ ఈస్ ద ఇంపార్టెన్స్. We no need to externally call it. It will automatically call it as a part of execution as the first step. This is the first step. It will automatically execute from here onwards. Fine. So now this is the first step. Here onwards Java will execute. Even though if you open facebook.com or bytesplash.in, whatever it may be the website, if you are opening login page means automatically this server main method is already executed and it is ready to accept login request. So that it will process that and it will check whether email and password is correct or not, and it will send back the response. If it is invalid, it will send the invalid credentials. Please try again with valid credentials, valid username and password. At least in order to make it, it should automatically run. So now what is this syntax? I just remember it. Public means it will be available for everyone. Static, it's bound to the class, no need to create an object. Void is a return type of the method where it is not returning anything. So returning means if you are asking for something like you are logging in with email ID and password, what is the return for that? It will get some unique key so that we can make it use of on every refresh. Otherwise it will ask login every time. That return type will be string of some characters which will be return type string. Now we are not returning anything because we just invoking the program. In order to invoke program, we don't need to return anything. It will just invoke and be here. And whenever we ask something for login, logout, sign up, whatever it may be, it will ask whatever there inside the main method we write. From there execution will start. It will ask here and it will get back the response. It is running, it is in that running state. And whenever we ask login, sign up or something, it will serve our request and get back the response. So now, why main method will have this string and asks? So basically, program will start as command line automation, command line programming. So in previous days, we don't have this much of UIs and everything. At the time, we have black screens. There it will be treating everything as a character, as a stream of characters, and that they are converting into zeros and ones and bytes, and they are converting to numbers if it is a number. If it is a character, they are converting to characters. And they are taking more than one, so that's why they are taking arguments array. You know square base is for array. Means they are taking arguments array of infinite length. How much length you can give, that much length you can give. So that is the main syntax where whenever it's in 1991, whenever we started that, so they made syntax like this. From there they didn't change because if you are currently we are not using anywhere because we are using web application or Android application to communicate. We are not giving command lines as of now. But still syntax is running the same. They are not updated because anyway if you are not using it means not using it. ఇక్కడ నుంచి program start అవుతుంది. So now till now what we covered? First we covered data types, variables or identifiers. And data types and sizes, right? How much size it is. After that, decision making, flow control, right? And control structures, iteration statements, which will be like if else, if ladder, and again switch, for loop, while loop, do while, for each loop. We have all this, which will control the flow of the program. And after this, we have operators to do some arithmetic operations in the whole program. And after this, we have strings and arrays. After this, we are in this step, which is yesterday's step, which is methods or functions. Methods or functions. Right. So we are at this step. So now we covered all this. Why data types? In order to store something, how much size you want to declare. If you want to store your number or your salary, if it is roll number, that is a number if it is. If it is an Aadhaar number, if it is a number. Then basically it started with int, which is 4 bytes of data type, which will be 27, some 9-digit number starting with 27. Because it's of 4 bytes means 8 4 is 32 bits. Every bit will be started with 2 power 0 to 2 power 31. 2 power 31 might be some 27, 54 something, 54 some 7 digits. So that will be minus 2 plus 0 will also be included. Again, if you want to store more than 9 digit, then definitely it's a phone number. Definitely 10th digit might you need to take double of it, which is long. Again, if you want to store floating point, you can use float like points for the decimal. Again, if you want double the float, that will be double. And if you want to store the character M or F, male or female, that will be char. If you want to store more than one char, that will be string. So basically, this int, long, double, these are the primitive types. Primitive types. So which is not object oriented, because of the Java is not 100% object oriented. If you want to convert that into reference types, in java.lang package, we have integer, boolean class, character class, string class, double, everything we have. Since we have, we can convert these primitive types into reference type of the Java class, so it will become 100% object oriented. This process what we call boxing. Again, if you are using this, again you want to convert into non-primitive, it will be unboxing, right? And now if I am in int, I want to convert into float with the decimal points. What is that process? Type casting. We are casting from lower type to upper type. That is widening. Again, if I am converting float to int by removing decimals, narrowing means that will be also type casting. So how you can narrow? Using type before that for the floating value, right? That is completed. Now in order to identify it, we want to store in some container. For example, if I want to store name, I will just rub it and will continue here. Okay. For example, OpenLMS, you have one course. Let it be. If you have more than one course, I will explain here. You have only one course. That course will have course name, course ID. So whenever you click that particular course, it will open with course dashboard / URL ID. That is course ID. Again, duration. If it is duration, that will be number. If I tell it is 3, as a 3 months for backend, 5 for full stack. It might be. So in order to store this, that is nothing but a variable. How we can identify that variable? With identifier, that naming convention should not start with operators or special characters, but that naming convention can start with dollar or underscore. And also you have numbers, everything in between or ending, but not as starting. If you enter number as a starting point, it will convert as into value, which is a number is a value, right? So that is how it will convert. Now, if it is a course name, it's a combination of characters. What is the data type you want to mention? It's string. If it is a salary or if it is a duration, it might be int number. So how we need to declare first? We need to create like this: string and identifier name. This will become variable of type string. Course ID, again it's a string. This is an identifier. This is the data type of that. So this will become the course ID. I can give course ID like this. You know course ID will be like this. And again course name will be JFS. And whatever the line you write in Java, that should end with semicolon. And duration will be 3 because that is an integer. I can put as int. Since int is a primitive type which is not object oriented, you can convert into that into reference type which is equivalent to integer class in Java. Then it will become boxing. Means we are boxed primitive value into reference type. So this is what all about identifiers, variables and data type sizes. It's a recapitulation on board. Now decision making. Now I want to make a decision whenever you are logging into LMS, if you have the access, that is fine. Otherwise you will get the warning symbol like this. Access revoked, please contact administrator. Means there is a condition, or if you are eligible for vote or not, if your age is greater than 18. Means I want to check these conditions, and also I want to check a condition like which option you selected, or I want to do some iteration like if you want to do same operation n number of times. This will be flow control of the program. For example, if I am going on outer ring road, this is Marthalli, this is Electronic City. So now you know very well if you are night rider. You definitely know, because night times main road will be blocked, service road will be open because of metro construction. So now if this is closed, the alternate way is else. I need to go this, right? If there is no else, definitely user might confuse where I should go. Otherwise road is blocked, right? Again, if you go to ATM, if you want to withdraw, if you want to deposit, if you want to check balance, if you want to withdraw 5,000, but your account will have only 4,999 as a balance, you should see whether your withdraw amount is less than or equal to your available amount. Then only you can withdraw. If it is greater than your available amount, you cannot withdraw. In else condition, what we need to put? Insufficient balance, madam. Sarji. So please check another alternative or another denominator of 500 or 1000. Again it will check, or it will say main menu. That is the else condition. If I don't write the else condition, what it happen? User might confuse. It's a blank screen. So that's why else is important. So again, if you are 18 years age, less greater than or equal to 18, minimum it should be, this limit will be 18 and upper boundary will be 100, for example. So now it will be greater than or equal to means 18 and greater than 18. You got it? 18 and greater than 18. Greater than or equal to 18 means lower boundary also included. Means 18 is a lower boundary, upper boundary like anything, infinity. So we need to check all these conditions using if. If age greater than or equal to 18, do it. Else, I need to tell the user you are not eligible. So that will be happen. Again, I will just remove outer ring road first. Okay. So now there are more than one condition if you want to check. For example, I want to categorize the people based on age. If age greater than or equal to 11, it will be teenage. Again, if I want to check one more condition, else if again age greater than or equal to 20 and age less than or equal to 35, then adult age, for example, then it's an adult age. So I need to print as ADULT as adult. You got it? Again, if you want to check one more condition, I can put n number of else's. Last, if nothing is matched, then I can put invalid. Right? But the thing is here, if you want to add few more conditions and all, that is fine. For 3-4 more conditions, that is fine. But if you want to check n number of possibilities, n number of options in the remote, or even somewhere you need to click somewhere that should match the particular case what you enter, that will be ATM machine or remote or even switchboard or even water dispenser, then that will become switch case. We have switch, we need to switch to whatever option you selected. Switch option OP. That OP might be string or a number, whatever it may be. OP equal to withdraw. You got it? So that switch case will be taken as OP as an input. then that will be matched with the case which is a keyword, which is in lower case. That OP, for example, first one is withdraw. And we will execute the code here. And again, if that particular case is second case, which is deposit, again it will execute that particular code. If nothing is matched, so it will say invalid option, like, okay. So please try again later. Right? మీరు ఎంచుకున్న ఆప్షన్ తప్పు సరి అయినది కాదు. So please try again. So now, okay, let it fine. It's matched with withdraw. Withdraw match అయింది. But we need to break in that particular point. Whenever it is executed, then we need to use break keyword. This is the termination keyword in the flow control. Again, we can break here also. If we match second one, it will not execute the next case. So basically, case there is a termination with break only. Otherwise, we cannot terminate it without break. Again, we have continue also. Continue means if you are doing some operation n number of times. First of all, how to do n number of times? Because of loops. We have loops like for loop, which will have declaration, condition, and incrementation. Declaration means lower limit, starting with 0 or 1. Condition, greater than or equal to something, less than or equal to something. After the incrementation, plus plus or minus minus, increment or decrement. Then those many times this statement will execute. If you have 10 courses in the course dashboard module, then this will print instead of inside for loop, it will take 5 or 10 courses, whatever will be greater than 1. And it will print that as a cards. అంతే కదా, కార్డ్స్ లాగా ప్రింట్ చేస్తుంది మీకు LMS ఇన్ మొబైల్ గేమ్. మీన్స్ డూయింగ్ ద సేమ్ ఆపరేషన్. ఇంతేనా? ఇలాగే ఉంటాయి కదా కోర్సులు. కింద ఐడి కార్డ్ వస్తుంది ఇట్లా, రోల్ నెంబర్, రైట్? సో దట్ ఈస్ అవర్. అండ్ యూ కెన్ డూ దిస్. అండ్ దెర్ ఈస్ ఎ వైల్ లూప్ విచ్ ఈస్ నాట్ హ్యావింగ్ any declaration or something, but condition will fail, then it will terminate till condition fails. Phone battery తీసుకోండి or something. ఎట్లా? సో మీరు వినాయక చవితికి యూ గాట్ 10,000 వాలా అండి, 100 మట్టి స్విచ్, ఎవ్రీథింగ్, క్లే పాట్స్, సో ఎవ్రీథింగ్ యూ గాట్. అయిపోయిన వరకు కాలుస్తూ ఉంటాం. మీన్స్ వెన్ ఎవర్ ఇట్ విల్ బికమ్ ఎంటీ, దెన్ యూ కెన్ ఫుల్ఫిల్ దట్. అంతే, దట్స్ వైల్ లూప్. దెర్ ఈస్ నో ఇనిషియలైజేషన్ అన్నారు. యూ కెన్ యూజ్ ద రిసోర్సెస్ till it get depleted. You got it? So that is while loop. And also you have for each loop to loop the array as an like this. For if it is an int item of list items, then you can print item everything. So for each loop, for each of the element. Again we have one more for each also, that will comes in collections. That's fine. And again we have do while also. Even though it knows that it will fail, but it will type execute once and it will fail again. Means it will do memoization. అంటే అప్పుడు ఏం చేస్తుంది? డూ వైల్ ఎలా ఉంటుంది? ఫస్ట్ ఇట్ విల్ డూ and it will check the condition in while at the end with semicolon. Then it will execute this, but it will not do any operation, but it will memoize it. Means it will store it somewhere, and whenever this is successful, then it will execute this. So that is the memoization. That is the memoization concept. Memoization is the technique in algorithms, data structures and algorithms. Again, strings and arrays. If you see in real time, if you are opening a website or if you are googling something or even you are doing some search operation in Google, that is because of you enter some keys on keyboard or even keypad in the mobile. So that is nothing but a combination of characters, which is a string. If we do search operation, it will check whether it is containing that. If I enter Praveen Kumar, so if I am searching on YouTube, if the YouTube channel name will have Praveen Kumar, it will get it. If the YouTube title link will be having the same video title or hashtag, it will search dot content. Or using substring also, substr off. Again we can check with equals to also if we should exactly match. If you are searching with email ID, You got it? So these are string operations in string class. Since string is immutable in nature in Java, so ఇప్పుడు నాకు ఒక నేమ్ ఉంది, string name equal to Praveen. So name equal to Praveen. So now if I'm adding some Kumar again to Praveen, so what it will happen? So now it will concatenate the string. But what might happen? So now the current string is in some memory location. This is the memory location of the Praveen, Praveen. It will be stored as a form of characters. That characters will be stored in the form of zeros and ones. You already know that. If you know, you know, because you already know that. So now this is the reference of the ID, which is string ID, something kind of this one. That is stored. Now, whenever I add something to Praveen, what might happen? It will since string is immutable in nature, what it will do? It will create the new memory reference. It will create the new memory reference. So now this memory reference is deleted, and this value along with the new value will be created in the new reference, and ID will also change. And that reference value is stored in the name. This pointed location for the name will be deallocated, and it will be deleted, and it will point to the new location. You got it? Now tell me, whenever you are adding something and you are deleting something, you are accessing something, if every time it will create the new memory location and delete the previous location, then definitely that is the heavy intense operation on the RAM when it is running. Definitely we need to go with immutability. That will be string builder or buffer. But if you are using high intensive application like payment gateways or some other applications, or even Amazon something, which is having lakhs of customers using at the same time, at the same point, even IRCTC ticket booking systems are very important, right? If they are doing at the same time, in payment gateways, ticket booking systems, ordering systems, everything. So now there are multiple processes or multiple people running at the same time. At the time, it will be individual process. In order to make that individual process concurrently at a time, then we need to go with string buffer. It is little bit slow because that will synchronize one process to another process, but it will not overlap or conflict. So then you will go with string buffer, that is synchronized, right? So if you don't want synchronized, if you are not using multi-threading, then string builder is fine. But string buffer is little bit slower than string builder because this is synchronized. So now, if Mukesh is paying the transaction to Ramesh, again Ramesh is paying the transaction to Mukesh, again Mukesh is paying transaction to Navya, Navya again paying to Manmohan Ji. So now what will happen? So everyone is doing same time at same operation. So now, if it is doing builder or buffer, one thing will switch to another. Again, if Praveen is completed, again Praveen's transaction is successful, again he will get the internal transaction from Navya, another. Means it is switching from one process to another and it is displaying the result. First time the Praveen money vache, it will show, okay, he got money received. Again he is sending money. Again that will also successful. Again it shows your money sent to Ramesh successfully. The second operation means it is switching from one process to another process. That is context switching. అంటే ఒక ప్రాసెస్ నుంచి అనదర్ ప్రాసెస్ స్విచ్ అవుతుంది కదా, దాన్ని కంటెక్స్ట్ స్విచ్చింగ్ అంటాం. సో దట్ విల్ బి పాసిబుల్ విత్ సింక్రనైజ్డ్ డేటా స్ట్రక్చర్స్. ఓకే, అండ్ both will have the same methods like string, but the thing is this is immutable, it can change. That is the mutability and immutability. That's very important because that will be interview question directly. Without that, no Java interview will enter a good Java interview. Okay. Now arrays. If you want to store more than one course, definitely I want to store in array of courses or array of numbers or array of names or array of students, whatever it may be. So we need to store in an array int roles royce. So equal to, if you want to declare with size, we can again declare new int of how much, 30 people. Again, if you want to declare with 300, you can declare. Again, you can directly declare like this with values. How many values you have? It will automatically take the size as the 3 because you are giving 3 values. Again, you can mention these square braces before here also. That will also acceptable. Again, for this again you can assign this. For this again you can assign this. But here there is a drawback here. Why? So in declaration itself, you need to declare the memory, how much it should occupy, how much items it should take. So when I am starting the institution, my capacity is 360 for morning and afternoon, both for all the 5 classrooms if I have. Now, if I declare as 360, it will not work. Why? Because I don't know when 360 will become. It might be 4 months or 5 months. But from now onwards, I need to put pressure on RAM. I need to allocate 360 every day, at every second. That memory is occupied for me. These 5 months, that memory is waste, right? For example, you are now 122 people. So again, this 200 plus people is vacant, right? So I want to create dynamic arrays. So that will be possible with java.util package will have array list. This will be covered in next modules, which will be in collections. But array list allow work also. Initially 10 is the size. So whenever 70% of his memory is increased, it's dynamically grow. So whenever 70% means 7 people అయిపోతే మనకి 3 ఉంది కదా, ఇంకా 30% మెమరీ ఉంది. అప్పుడు ఇది డబల్ అవుతుంది, అంటే 20 అవుతుంది. అగైన్ 20లో 70% అంటే ఎంత, 14 people అటెండ్ అయితే అగైన్ ఆ 20 కాస్త 40 అవుతుంది, డబల్ అవుతూ పోతుంది. దట్ ఈస్ ద డైనమిక్ గ్రోత్. So that is why we will switch to array list slow and steadily in the upcoming lectures. With the help of collections, you can understand. That is the internal working behavior of array list, and this is the direct interview question. And how string buffer, string builder and string will differentiate, that is also direct interview question. The next one is, okay, the next one and last one which we discussed yesterday is methods or the functions. So now tell me, I cannot write the login logic in the main method. If I write logic in the main method, what might happen? Definitely there is no inputs for that. Inputs ekkadi nunchi vastayi, whenever you click login button from the website or the Android app, then only it will get, otherwise it will not get, ante kada. So we need to make it is callable. Whenever you click login button, whenever I click login button or even sign up or something, that is because of some operation only the website or Android app will work, you know that. Whenever we click that, it should call that. The callable will be, main method is automatically invocable, you know. If it is not automatically invoked, we need to call it. So everything should be callable in nature. If you don't call, computer will not process you and it will not give output. That is the input which you call and you will get the output. For this we have the functions. So whenever I click login, it will call Java method or a Java function which is some public if you want to use it. It should return some token, right? So nenu ikkada rasta. Fine. It should be public. So that should be used by everyone. So login అయిన తర్వాత ఏమో you should be logged in. Means you will get the student details or even course details. Kada. I want to return that. If it is a student means student class I can return. Student class will have name, ID, roll number, course name, each LMS access, everything will be having. Like if it's return type is student, I can put as return type as student. Again, what is the name? Login is the name of that, or login function, whatever it may be. And what is the inputs that we are getting? Email ID and password. Means string, right? Then I will get string as email, string as password, as 2 inputs.
Last number.
Okay. So main method pakkan pedam because whenever server is started, main method is at somewhere. So ikkada we will create public student login or login verify or login or something. It will take string email and string password. Antena? Then from here it will connect to database MySQL or Oracle, and it will get back the response whether email ID and password is correct. Whenever it is correct, it will create the object for the student O equal to, and it will use parameterized constructor or even constructor, and it will give all the values, name, ID, LMS done, boolean, everything it will give, and it will have the object, and it will return this object. Whenever we get this response, then you will be automatically logged in. In order to do this mechanism, functions are important. Now you will log in 100 times, 1000 times, 1000 people will log in 1000 times, n number of times every day, 365 days, 24/7. I want to run the same method, which is reusability, and it is having some responsibility, which is single responsibility principle. Means it is having some responsibility, like it should take 2 inputs, email ID and password, which is of type which you declare. Intern method it will say input mismatch exception. It will take email and password, and it will process the logic, and you are returning with return statement with return keyword. What is the type? Student. Student object you need to send. That object will have the values if you are using parameters constructor, or you need to set manually using o.name equal to o.id equal to something. Then you need to return. So that is why we should learn functions. If you learn functions, it's almost done. You already learned everything to build application. But the next what you are learning is some advanced features, how to handle and write some more proper code, and also memory management. ఇప్పుడు మనము అదే స్టాటిక్గా తీసుకున్నాం సైజ్ ఇచ్చి, it's not efficient. Memory is not managed properly. If you learn collections, you can manage memory properly. But with this you can do. But whenever you implement this function, you can call it every time whenever you want. నాకు ఏ లైన్లో కావాలంటే ఆ లైన్లో నేను రాసుకుంటూ ఉంటే it will be duplicate. Code is, it should not be duplicate. It should be callable every time from wherever it is. Where it should be declared, inside the class or outside the class. Class లోపల ఉంటుందా బయట ఉంటుందా? మస్తా inside ఉంటుంది, because this method is inside the student class. So we need to create the object for student. Then we need to call it o.login, and we need to send email ID and password. Then we will get the response. That response if we get, then we will send. If we don't get response and we will get some error, then we will say return invalid credentials. That will be shown on the browser or the app. So function is very important. Functions are there inside the classes. If it is public, it will be accessible to everyone. If it is private, means nobody can access. Within the class only it can able to access. Your mobile is private to you only. Your class, Ramesh class only. Right? So that is how it is. Now if you want to sign out, I can create public some student sign out function, and it will take only some object which is already logged in, and will return true or false if it is sign out. Then it will automatically redirect to login page whenever you sign out. And then, so that is how we need to create n number of functions for n number of things. So this is what functions. Now next concept is we need to make public, private, protected, default something, and how to access it. Instance, static, blocks and all. After that we will go to exception handling, multi-threading corrections, object-oriented programming, oops, right? Then we can build it. ఇంతవరకు అర్థమైందా? హోల్ ఫ్రమ్ స్టార్టింగ్ టు ఎండ్.